Alright, in this video we're going to go over envelope distort, and there are two ways to make it. Envelope distort can be made with warp and with mesh. And before we get started, the first thing you need to know about is that the great thing about envelope distort with warp and mesh is that you can make it with very complex layers filled with groups, compound paths, simple text, all these things, or you can just apply it to one simple path or just a piece of text. But the first thing you need to know is that if you have hidden objects like this clipping mask here that has all these lines hiding inside of it, that will throw off your warp made with, or your envelope distort made with warp or mesh, because it will actually make the warp conform to the entirety of your shape, which is would be this large box, and not the actual simple text or shape that I have here. So you can do a couple things. You can either expand it, or for now I'm going to simply get rid of this pattern and recreate it later on, because it's not that hard to make. So now I'm going to select this layer, zoom in because I really want to see this effect, and I'm going to go to Object, Envelope Distort, and Make with Warp. Now warp is simply a collection of basically warps that have actually been preset and pre-designed, and they have some handy little tools down here for you to change. And the first thing you want to do is hit preview, and preview of course will show you the actual settings and changes that you do. And this is really one of those areas where you're going to play around with it and see what you need. And that's the simple question is, like, what do you want it to look like in the end? For instance, the horizontal shift and everything, this will actually make it look like it's coming at you from, or at least expanding from the first letter and coming at you with the last letter, or zero that out, and the vertical will make it look more like it's straight up and down. So you could actually wrap this on an emulation or a sampling of a can. So, and then you got items like bulge. And it's just one of those things you really have to play around with to see how it's going to look in the end, and ask yourself, what do I want it to look like? What do I need it to do? Now, once you have your distort, and here we go, the thing that you need to know is that you can grab your select tool, double click it, and there you have access to your actual shapes. So you can edit the content while it's still in envelope distort, which is really, really important to understand. So you actually don't have to expand it or do anything and to get access to this. You can edit it while it's distorted and see changes such as changing the color to something else. And then if you want to get out of it, you just hit these little arrows, and then it'll take you back out, and you'll see the envelope with your content inside. Now, if you need to change things, if you don't like the way it's looking, you have some options. Envelope distort, and then you can go edit envelope. And that will bring you back, and you can actually access all the features up here, which is actually really handy. And there you got your slider. You can do all of your edits at the top menu bar. You do not have to do it in the dialog box that pops up. And once you like what you see, once you're really happy with it, the next step, and the final step, is to go to Envelope Distort and Expand. Now that is going to turn everything, basically finalize everything into the graphics, so you can edit and change it, or you can hit Release, and that will return your final graphic to its pre-envelope distorted state. And that is it. I'm going to hit Expand, and there it is. Now it is completely vectorized, ready to use in any other content, and I can treat it just like any other group or shape or compound path.